Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my podcast. That's my personal business. Welcome back to That's My Personal Business. If you're new here, welcome. This was a pretty on-brand start. If you have been here since the dawn of time, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here. Can you believe that we're in season 3? I absolutely cannot. And I'm also... I just say the way that it aligned for season 3 to be in 2023? I'm incredibly excited about that. Anywho, say you are new around here. I'm Eden. I'm your host. I am a destination wedding photographer turned business owner, and I get to teach creative entrepreneurs like yourself how to build the business of your dreams that supports the life of your design. And what that really means is that I want to help you build an incredible business, but I do not want that to be the end destination. I want the end destination to be your dream life. I want you to live a beautiful, fulfilled life outside of your business as well, while finding fulfillment, pleasure, financial fulfillment through your business. So I don't want you to just stop at the dream business. We're going to take it to the next level, which is your dream life. And so that's why this podcast exists. We kind of pull back the covers on what's going on behind the scenes. We talk about all things business, all things personal, all things in between. Anywho, I'm excited to have you guys here today. Obviously, we are still in the starts of 2023, and I'm just feeling good. I would love to know how you guys are feeling. I'm in like this weird zone. Let's play catch up for a minute. I'm in this weird zone. I posted about it on my Instagram story the other day where I'm finding a lot of fulfillment and peace in a lot of aspects of my life, but I am actually having a really weirdly hard time being in New York, which I never expected because I have always dreamed about living here. That's the part I'm struggling with the most because New York really it's not what I expected. It's not like I moved here like I know a lot of people do and was like, oh no, this isn't what I expected. It is what I expected. The good parts, the magical parts, the hard parts, the unsafe parts, it's all pretty on par with what I expected. I used to travel a lot here for work. My ex was from here. So I'm was very familiar with New York and Brooklyn before moving here, thank God. So it wasn't that jarring of a move. However, I didn't expect to miss certain things as much as I do. I really miss the outdoors. I also just honestly, I really miss being able to travel as much as I used to. It used to be a lot easier to travel just in general. And also it didn't feel like I was throwing money down the drain in the way that it does here. My rent is almost twice as expensive as the rent I used to pay for my entire apartment. Even for context, it's almost double what I paid for my 1-bedroom in LA, and it's half the size. So it feels dumb to leave my apartment when I spend so much money for it. And then on top of that, obviously New York is expensive in general. So it's just really expensive to get my dog watched. It's going to cost me $1,000 if I want to go out of town for 10 days. So I miss that a lot. And then in the last couple months, I've just found myself in these really weird situations. And I'm going to put a light trigger warning on these. If you're sensitive to the unsafe situations, maybe just skip the next 30 seconds. But a couple months ago, I went dancing with a friend. I'm always really careful when I go dancing. I don't really get super drunk anymore. I don't drink a ton. And I got roofied. And thankfully nothing happened because I was with my friends in terms of getting put in a worse situation, but that obviously took a really big toll on my mental health for a while. And then this past weekend, again, wasn't in an unsafe situation. I was at a bar that we knew really well and in an area that we know. And it was my first time really going out again since the roofie, and was okay, let me try to get back into this. Let me try loving New York again and loving going out with my friends. And we got assaulted. And me and my other friend, my male friend, there's a big group of us, but him and I are the ones that kind of got physically attacked. And not in a way where physically I'm okay, but it's obviously been kind of a lot. And I still love living here, but I'm just kind of starting to play this mind game of could I be happier elsewhere? Could I move an hour and a half out of the city and come in on the weekends and enjoy the city when I want to, and enjoy all the things I do love about New York? I don't know, but I'm just having a really hard time with it. Honestly, I love living here. It's always been my dream. I feel weird about even thinking about the idea of giving up on it. But anyway, I just want to be open and transparent with what's been going on, how I'm feeling, because I think that's important for you guys to know that everyone has their stuff. Again, right? It's the premise of this podcast. I want to be an open book with you guys because I want you to understand that everyone running businesses is a human being, and I can, there are times where I am loving my business right now, but personally personally having kind of weird time, or there's times where it's the opposite, or there's times where both are hard or both are good. And it is the way of life, right? And being a human. And yeah, that's just kind of how I'm feeling right now. I am not gonna make any decisions anytime soon, but it's just kind of like where I'm at with trying to figure out like how I want to navigate the next, couple years of my life. Other than that, as far as business goes and personal things go, I don't have any travel for the next 2 months, which is crazy. But I am, even though I miss it, I am excited to just kind of chill. My dog just got back from her boarding camp, her training, which has been so fun and so amazing. And now I can take her out. I can like take her to coffee shops and restaurants and stuff. So it's been really, really nice to be able to like enjoy the city with her, because that's not something I could do before when she had her reactivity issues. So I'm feeling really good about that. We opened Becoming this month, which has been really, really fun. You guys know I love Becoming. If you don't know what Becoming is, it's our 9-month coaching program, and it is magical. And we only open up books twice a year. It's a very specific program. It's application based. We hop on a free consultation call before, because it's not for everyone. Like, I will be upfront. I tell everyone this on the consultation calls. I'm like, Becoming isn't for everyone, and that's literally fine. Like, if it is for you, I would love to have you. But if you're not like ready to give your business your all, you're not ready to get uncomfortable and experience extreme growth and change, then like, let's do a VIP day. Let's do hourly mentoring. Let's do something like that. So just a reminder, Becoming usually closes. We usually like kind of close the doors at the end of the month. So if you're wanting to snag one of the few spots that we have left, I will link applications for you below. We've also just been like really working on like system strategy and soul and outlining the game plan for the rest of the year. We are also this week opening up VIP days. So if you are looking for short-term support and you want to just get your business set up so it's ready to flourish for 2023, I will link those for you below as well, because we're only opening up 2 spots, I believe, in February. So yeah, feeling good. I am feeling really excited and hopeful about 2023. I think there's going to be a lot of growth. If you guys didn't listen to the previous podcast episode about 2023 predictions, I think it is going to be a huge fucking year for websites and SEO. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go do it. We're going to do like a website based episode soon, but I would highly, highly suggest going back and listening to that episode so that you can start implementing things on your website, because I think websites are going to be huge this year. There's just so much chatter on social media and the online spaces that I think having a home base that people can really reference to build trust with you and get an idea as to what you're all about is going to be massive. So yeah, that's all the updates, you guys. That's how I'm feeling. That's what's new. I'm trying to think if anything else is new. I don't think so. If you need a dog trainer in New York, contact New York Wolfpack. That is my unsponsored plug, because they were phenomenal and they cured my dog, and it literally feels like I have a new dog, but not a new dog, because all the best things about her are the same. Just all the hard things are gone. Anyway, I'm very excited today for today's episode, because we are talking about lucky girl syndrome. And if you don't know what lucky girl syndrome is, that's okay. That probably means that you're not a TikTok addict like the rest of us. And by the rest of us, I mean myself. The lucky girl syndrome is something that has gone really big this month with the new year starting. And I wish I could tell you who I can credit it to. But it's so many people have been talking about it on TikTok. It's kind of hard to know the origin at this point. However, basically the concept is this. Lucky girl syndrome is this idea of just waking up every day and like all day, every day, just saying to yourself, like, I'm the luckiest girl in the world, or, enter your preferred pronouns, placement, whatever it is that you want to say. I'm the luckiest person in the world. Everything works out for me. That's my specific favorite, is everything works out for me. And basically you just say this every morning when you wake up, and you say it throughout the day. You say it just 24/7. You say it as often as you can remember to, is just this idea of like, everything works out for me. Everything. I don't know why or how. I don't care. Everything works out for me. And I love stuff like this. And I'm kind of the mindset of like, who's it going to hurt, right? Like, what's it going to hurt to try this out? So I started trying it, and it was magical. Like it sounds kind of weird to talk about this when previously I told you how I got assaulted this weekend. Obviously, life still happens. However, with the rest of my life, it's been crazy to see like little tiny things that have been happening, or things that like seem to have gone wrong and then ended up being like a huge major blessing, or like just, it's been very, very fascinating. And so of course I wanted to like do a little bit more research because I love manifesting and I love the woo-woo-ness of all of this. But you know me, you guys, we have a whole course, System, Strategy, and Soul. I love data. I love technicality. I love systems, and I love pairing it with soul woo-woo stuff. And so I was like, I want to know a little bit more about the science behind this as well, because this is obviously working. And so maybe for those of us who don't want to just go strictly off of woo-woo things, I want to see what the science about this is. And so someone actually also showed up on my TikTok and they were talking about the reticular activating system and how that coincides with lucky girl syndrome. And so I'm going to start by reading like just the definition of reticular activating system off of sciencedirect.com, just so that we can talk about what part of the brain this is. The reticular activating system, RAS, is a network of neurons located in the brainstem that project anteriorly. No, I can't say that word. That project blah, 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 blah. That projects certain things from one side of the brain to the other side of the brain to mediate behavior, as well as both posteriorly to the some other part of the brain, and directly to the cortex for activation of awake, desynchronized cortical EEG patterns. Okay, that was a lot that I absolutely do not understand. And if you do, maybe I'm just dumb, but I'm okay being dumb. So now I'm going to go to an article on medium.com written by Tobias Van Schneider that puts it in layman's terms for us, because I didn't graduate college. So do I need to talk about different parts of the brain that much? No, it's going to go straight over my head. And I couldn't even say some of those words. So let's hear from Tobias, because he's going to do us really pretty. Basically, the reticular activating system is a bundle of nerves at our brainstem, so back here, that filters out unnecessary information so the important stuff gets through. So let's put this into perspective, right? It's kind of like the example that you hear all the time, which is that like you decide to buy a red car and now suddenly there are red cars everywhere. You notice them everywhere. Or you learn a new word and you start hearing it all of the time. Or it's why in a crowd full of talking people, I love this example that he gives. In a crowd full of talking people, you will immediately snap to attention if you hear someone say your name. The reason why this happens is because of the reticular activating system. Basically, what the RAS does is it takes what we have decided is important and needs to be prioritized, and it makes sure that you are subconsciously paying attention to that all the time. So it takes what you want to focus on or choose to focus on and creates a filter for it, and then is going to sift through that data and present to you these pieces of information that it thinks you're going to, find important, which is super, super cool. And this is why, one, it can really work in our favor with things like the lucky girl syndrome, and it cannot, right? It's like we've all had those days where we wake up, something goes wrong, we like stub our toe, and then we're just like, today is gonna fucking suck. Like I have had days like that where I'm just like, today's gonna be a bad day. And then it's like I'm hitting my hip on something. My pant my belt loop is gonna get stuck on a handle, or I'm gonna get bad news from someone, or I'm gonna trip and all of this stuff, right? Like we've all had days where we're just like, shit, today's going to be a bad day. And then it does in fact become a bad day. And even when those things are happening and we're like, I knew it, it's going to be such a bad day. The things that are happening are things that when they happen on other days that I didn't think were going to be a bad day, it's not that big of a deal. I've had really good days where I stub my toe and I'm just like, whatever. The reason why this happens is because of the RAS. We have decided it's going to be a bad day, right? Right when we wake up. And so the RAS is yes, let me make sure I focus on all of these things that make it a bad day, which means that you can train your RAS to take your subconscious thoughts and marry them to the conscious thoughts that you want to be happening, setting your intentions. AKA, if we wake up with this lucky girl syndrome and we're like, everything works out for me, I'm the luckiest person in the world, opportunities are presenting to me constantly, the RAS is okay, perfect. Let me focus on things that show that everything works out for us, that we are the luckiest girl in the world, that opportunities are presenting constantly. And by rewiring this part of our brain, we're able to start manifesting, or if you don't believe in that and you just want to say noticing, we start noticing better things, which can also lead to us seeing certain opportunities as opportunities. And I think this is where manifestation and science marry really beautifully together. What I kind of think of this as, right, is like manifestation is beautiful, amazing things and opportunities coming to us that we didn't expect or we don't know how they came there. And where the science of this comes in and the RAS is that if we're having a really negative day, or like we've woken up and we've been like, hey, RAS, we're having a bad day. Like, we're just going to need to focus on the bad day things. We're going to look past opportunities or, people coming to us or good news. We're going to look past it because our brain is just filtering that out, right? It's kind of like when you're in the crowd, lots of people's names are being said, but we're not going to notice unless we hear our name. And so if we decided our name for the day is bad news, we're probably not going to notice the good things coming by, right? It's kind of like, if you guys watch The Office, when Michael comes to Times Square and he's like looking for Tina Fey and he's so convinced he saw Tina Fey that Conan O'Brien just walks right by him and he just doesn't even see him. He didn't see him because he wasn't looking for Conan O'Brien. If he was looking for Conan O'Brien, he would have seen him. And that's same thing with the RAS and manifesting and bringing opportunities to life, bringing good things to life, right? If Tina Fey's bad things or just general things that we decide to focus on, and Conan O'Brien is our opportunity for our dream life or to sign a new client or to scale our business, if we're just looking for Tina Fey, we're not even going to see Conan. But if Conan, stay with me, we've really created a multi-layered analogy here. If Conan O'Brien is us being like, everything works out for me, everything good happens to me, I'm the luckiest girl in the world, we decide that's Conan O'Brien and we start looking for him, we're going to see Conan O'Brien. He's right there. But we just can't, we have to make sure that that's what we're focusing on. Otherwise, it's just going to go right past us. And what I love about this lucky girl syndrome is, one, I love the idea of saying just everything works out for me, because that kind of covers everything, right? That's going to cover your love life. That's going to cover your work. That's going to cover your personal life. That's going to cover your health. Like, that's going to cover everything. But you also could get more specific, right? Maybe you choose a new one every week or every day. But this general concept of everything works out for me, I'm the luckiest girl in the world, that's going to completely train and change the way that your RAS operates in your day-to-day life. So what we want to do, right, is like, let's think of the law of attraction, right? And I think what's hard about the law of attraction is like, it can be painted like kind of mystical and a little too much in some senses, right? Like, oh, I want a bicycle shows up on the door. Probably not. But the concept now, when you think about the RAS, kind of helps because it is completely rewiring the way that you're going to see the world around you, which is super cool. So what I want you to do is to like think of what you're hoping to manifest. Like, what situation do you want to arise? What goal are you trying to achieve? And now think about like the experiences that you need to have in order to achieve that thing. And now you're going to create almost like this mental filter that only focuses on achieving those things. And again, I know I'm being repetitive with the everything works out for me, but that's why I love that one so much, is like right now, while I have goals, I'm like very open this year. I talked to you guys about this in I can't remember if it was the first episode of the year or the last episode of 2022, but I was talking about how I have like certain goals, but more than anything, I'm just like very curious about letting the universe like show me new things this year. And I think that's why I love the like everything works out for me mindset, because I'm just like, what can you show me? Like, and when I've had moments when I've like gotten down or felt really defeated, like this weekend, or, like everyone in my life getting COVID, which had made us have to reschedule the workshop, is my girlfriend was really good about being like, hey, it feels like you have nothing right now. And I get that. So let's just cling to this. Everything works out for me. Like, even if it is the only thing you have, let's just cling to it and let's see what it can do. And it's been really beautiful to see what comes about. And it's also changed a lot of how I operate in the world in terms of confidence, because you almost enter this state of like delusional, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't care what happens as much because everything works out for me. So if something goes wrong, I cling to it less. I sit on it less. I let it have impact over me less, because I'm like, it's okay. even at a delusional level, I believe that everything works out for me. So let's see what it is this time. Like, let's see what it is that this is going to teach me. And not to say that you have to just like go straight to this level of delusion. That is what I'm choosing to do this year. But just start saying it to yourself over and over again until you get to the state of being able to believe it. And I think that's what's important, right? It's like sometimes it's going to take a little while to retrain our brain, right? Like I think of my dog who just got back from her boot camp. She's been gone for 5 weeks getting trained. There's still going to be little hiccups now that she's back with me, right? Like I'm having to now integrate her into living with me and still keeping with her training with me. And so there's going to be hookups or times that she forgets or missteps. Same thing with our brain, right? If our brain has been focusing on Tina Fey for the last 25 years, it's going to take a second to rewire it to look for Conan O'Brien. So that is what I want you to focus on though, is just see what happens. Start waking up, start channeling this lucky girl syndrome and just seeing like, if I can retrain my RAS to exclusively focus on things working out for me and new opportunities and like ways to make my dreams come true, what can we get done, right? And again, what's it going to hurt? That's kind of my mindset whenever I try new things like this. If I feel skeptical about them, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I waste 10 seconds a day saying a mantra to myself. That's literally worst case scenario. So why not, right? Implement lucky girl syndrome, do it with your business, do it personally, do it in whatever aspect of your life that you feel like you could use a little extra, delusional confidence and delusional hope. What is wrong with that, right? I want to start focusing on everything working out for me and just leaving the rest up to the universe. Like, how can you make everything work out for me? Where can things start working out for me in a way that I didn't expect? And so this is how I am implementing Lucky Girl Syndrome in 2023. I hope you do the same. I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm excited to see what can happen with it. I'm excited for you to see what can happen with it. So keep me posted. Let me know what happens. If you want to manifest even more, we have our manifesting challenge as well that a bunch of you did at the beginning of the year, which I love. I always love hearing people's results for that. I'll link that for you in the show notes as well. But as always, I love you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, share on your Instagram stories. It means so much to me when you spread the word about the podcast. So thank you. It is the reason we're able to keep doing it. So I love you guys. I mean it. And I will see you next time.